Hi, friends. This is your pal Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about what I think is an opportunity for the world. Okay, so so I follow American politics, and that often brushes me up against global politics. And recently, a couple of podcasts I was listening to, they're like, "Hey, this is very important that India and Pakistan are fighting." All right, and I was like, "Oh, is it?" Usually, when two countries use conventional weapons against each other, as an American, I really don't need to worry about that too much. It doesn't impact me in any significant way, right? But then these podcasts were like, "Hey, both these guys got nukes." And I was like, "What?" Like, I had remembered that India had nukes and I had remembered that Pakistan had nukes, but I forgot because they don't really use them, right? In fact, nobody in the world has used nuclear weapons except America, right? And so now we're at a point where, okay, two countries that are nuked up are at a point where so they're angry with each other. Why? I looked it up, man. So first of all, here's what I learned. I was able to learn that India and Pakistan absolutely hate each other. And India and Pakistan have hated each other for 75 years. And so they legitimately hate each other, okay? So one, nobody should use nukes on each other if it's like a faux beef. But this is a real beef, like rap style beef, right? Like they legit hate each other. Like they got reasons on both sides, right? So one, here's what I'm saying. I actually think it would be useful to the world if India and Pakistan had a nuclear exchange at the global level. Okay, so I'm only talking about this from the perspective of global politics, right? And we have wars now. As a human being, it would be terrible, right? All loss of human life is terrible, right? So one, I would have I would have condolences for anyone who lost family in this exchange, right? Like that would be terrible, and every human life is worth infinite resources, right? With that said, when you discuss global politics, you discuss war because war occurs, right? And honestly, I'm not sure human beings will ever be in a world without war. In fact, I think no, I don't think humans will ever reach a point where there isn't war in the world. I just don't think we're going to get there. We can certainly do our part to reduce it, right? And that's one of my points is, right, I actually think it could be beneficial to the world if these parties did a nuclear exchange. So one, I would just like you, I would mourn every life, right? From a human perspective, the loss of human life is abominable, right? From discussing this from the perspective of global politics and American politics, one, America is the only country that's ever used nuclear weapons, right? And so there's this big question mark. And I think the world is unnecessarily terrified of nuclear exchanges, right? Oh, the world's going to end. It didn't. It didn't end. Actually, the first we have never had a nuclear exchange, right? We had two nuclear strikes, but it ended extremely well, right? The loss of life was abominable, but it saved many more lives. If you understand World War II, you understand that. And that's my entire point here, right? If there was a nuclear exchange, it would remove the question mark, it would remove a lot of fear, and we'd have more data about the weapons we as humans have built, right? And so that is the part that would be valuable. I think there would be value in I think there would, from a global perspective, from a global politics perspective, I think there would be value in a nuclear exchange, because then America wouldn't be the only group that had a nuclear exchange, and we would have more information, and we could stop being terrified of this. We would have passed through this door. Like, we would be like, okay, we had two nuclear strikes. We've never had a nuclear exchange. What does a nuclear exchange look like? And the reality is, there's a good chance a nuclear exchange would be extremely positive, in the net, right? Now, how would that be? How would it be extremely positive in the net? Well, it would be extremely positive in the net from the perspective of you would reach a point where it would be extremely positive in the net, because you would reach a point you would reach a point where it would be extremely positive in the net, just like our first nuclear strikes were positive in the net, right? Now that's extremely difficult to understand, and I can understand people are like, oh no, any nuclear exchange would be terrible, but I don't think that's the case. I think we need to, like, if you build weapons as a species, you need to know what they do. You don't need, it's not helpful to just have these giant question marks and then live in fear, right? And living in fear is very real, right? Whereas if you have data, you don't have to live in fear, right? So I actually think this could, if this occurs, I think it could be beneficial. And the reason why is the first time nukes were used, it was quite beneficial. And actually, America has, and that's the other thing, is we have all these fears about what's going to happen. But get this, what we've seen happen, it was shocking, right? America bombed Japan. America and Japan have literally, we have a much better relationship. America has a better relationship today with Japan than we do with Canada, right? America has a better relationship with Japan than we do with France, right? I don't think France or America are actual, I don't think France or Canada are actual allies to America. I would be extremely nervous about that, even one of them helping us if we got into actual trouble, right? But Japan, they got our back, and they have had our back, and we have an extremely strong relationship with them. And that's my entire point, is there's been animosity and hatred for 75 years, between India and Pakistan. A couple nukes fly, maybe all that gets, hammered out. Maybe that's the gate through to peace, right? I think it's worth discussing from the perspective of American politics and global politics. Every single word you just heard from me is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.